Hello, Wilfried Lemkula here with bullyatyourjob.com. We know many types of bullying. One of them is called corporate bullying. Yeah, that's right, corporate bullying. Because the corporation as a whole has become a bully. And believe it or not, but he actually practicing bullying as a valued business model. It's an acceptable business model to them. Of course, there's nothing in writing, there's not such a thing as a manual for bullying, but nevertheless, they have developed an attitude that it's totally okay to bully, harass and even abuse their employees for the sole benefit of financial gain. You see, in my industry, we call those organizations soul stealers. Sounds dramatic, but this is really what they do. They steal your joy, they steal your happiness, they steal your love for everything wonderful, and at the end, you feel empty and alone. So, who are those corporate bullies? Well, they are mostly large to very large corporations or organizations. Some are public, some are private. And in matter of fact, here in Canada, some of the best known brands are very brutal corporate bullies. Some of them are even notorious for harassment and sexual abuse. You see, in my opinion, corporate bullying in most cases happens when a large corporation focuses exclusively to satisfy their shareholders, no matter what. Unfortunately, in such a climate, management does not recognize the effort of their employees anymore. So, the corporate logic is quite simple actually. They say, okay, if our employees somehow manage to fulfill our ridiculous demands this year, then we can demand even more next year. And to achieve that, they're encouraging corporate bullying and harassment of their most talented and hardworking people, and they don't concern themselves with human relation issues. You see, in a nutshell, for such an employer, stepping on their people, it's totally acceptable, as long as it's justifiable in financial terms. And as far as financial-driven corporate bullying goes, I believe retail is probably the worst. Please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they are all the same, but some of them are really bad. Let me give you a few examples of corporate bullying in retail. Very typical examples actually. And you will see that they're all related. One step leads literally to another. So number one, severe cutting of hours, down to the point where the job cannot complete it as should. Then of course, the department manager will be held responsible for the consequences. Number two, a salary employee is paid for 8 hours on average, but expected to stay until the job is done. 10 hours, 11 hours, even 12 hours a day. The reason is simple, because the employer, the corporation, the organization does understaff the departments. Number three, central distro. One of the worst management mistakes in many cases. In this case, a department gets literally plugged with stuff that is unsellable in that location. And the department manager has no option to send that stuff back. He just sits there, the stuff is unsellable and reduces department revenue. And again, the department manager will be held responsible for it. Number four, threatening emails. It's one of the worst. You know, to all managers, assistant managers, department managers, if you do not perform this miracle until such and such day, you will face severe consequences. That's harassment. That's nothing but harassment. And people sending out those emails are cowards. Number five, salary employees have to work the weekends, definitely the long weekends, because the employer doesn't want to pay for overtime. And last but not least, number six, the customer is always right, the employee is always wrong. You see, all those cases lead one to another. They all belong together. And those are just a few examples of corporate bullying in retail. So many of you watching this video have probably asked themselves many times in the past, do I really have a reason to feel mistreated at work, or am I just too sensitive? And of course, asking yourself this question makes you feel even worse, because now you're looking at yourself for the possible problem. But let me tell you, no, you are not simply too sensitive. If you have experienced what I just laid out, then yes, you are clearly a victim of corporate bullying. So much for today. My name is Wilfried Lemkuler with Bully at Your Job, and please join me next time when we talk more about the subject. And don't forget to tell your co-victims about it. So please, have a happy day.